Shalom. I would like to give all praises, double honor, and glorification to the Most High Yahweh, Bahashim Mashiach, Mamaraki Yahushai, right? Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, right? So we got a quick video tonight, right? Just going into, how you have to meditate upon more godly things. You have to give your mind over to more godly things, more righteous things in these last days. And ultimately, right, you gotta watch what you feed your mind, in these last days. And it's very important that we pay attention, you understand, to what we give our minds over to, as we draw nigh to, the return of our King, man, Yahweh Shah. Right? So we're gonna dive straight into it. We ain't even gonna tarry, we ain't even gonna waste time. Let's dive straight into it. We'll get the book of Genesis, chapter 24, the classic right here. Right, it's the book of Genesis, right, chapter 24. And I'm gonna start at Salakia, let me get there. I'm gonna start at verse 63. It says, and Isaac went out to meditate in the field at eventide, and he lifted up his eyes and saw, and behold, the camels were coming. Right. So you had, our mighty forefather Isaac, he went out to meditate. Right. So meditating is not, we're meditating in righteousness. Let me, be specific. Meditating in righteousness is not a bad thing. Right. This some of our forefathers did, right? The brother, mighty forefather, Isaac, he meditated. Right. But you gotta think about it though. In these last days, you gotta watch what your mind is upon, what you thinking upon, right? Shalom to everybody tuning in. Because when you dive, let's put it up. Let's put it up. Salakia. All right, let's pull up let's dive into it real quick. Open up a new tab. Right. So when you look at the definition of meditate, it says think deeply or focus one's mind for a period of time. Right. So you gotta ask yourself in these last days, what is you really focusing your thoughts on? Right? What are you thinking deeply upon in these last days? It says think deeply or focus one's mind for a period of time. So when you thinking deeply, you do it for a period of time, whether it's 5 minutes, whether it's an hour, it doesn't really matter. It says in silence or with the eight. Well, that's kind of folly, the rest of the definition, but read the second part. It says think deeply or carefully about something. So you got to ask yourself, what are you thinking deeply or carefully about in these last days? And one more definition, it says plan mentally or consider. So what are you mentally planning or plotting on in your mind? What are you considering in your mind, right? In these last days, right? So that's something to think about because our forefather Isaac, he meditated, right? But of course, we know this brother was righteous. This brother was mighty. He wasn't meditating on folly, right? He wasn't meditating on the women at the club, right? He wasn't meditating on, a GTA 6, right? So on and so forth. I don't have to give 20 examples, right? Brothers and sisters know exactly what's going on. So you want to watch what your mind is given to in these last days. You want to watch and consider what's upon your mind and upon your thoughts in these last days. You really want your mind to be as pure and undefiled and focused on the Lord as possible, right? Give me another preset real quick. Get the book of Psalms, right? Let's get these really classics for real. We'll get Psalms chapter 1, right? We'll get there real quick. All right. I start at verse 1. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 1 and verse 1. It says, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly. Right. So you don't want your mind upon the counsel of ungodliness, the ungodly, the sinners, the wicked. Right? Because you gotta think about it, wicked people meditate too. People of the world, they meditate too. The ungodly, the sinners, they meditate, right? But the difference is they not meditating upon righteousness though. So you don't want to have your mind upon what they counsel about. We didn't been in the world before, and God forbid we ever go back, because we don't want to go back there. But we didn't been in the world before. We know the counsels we used to have. Lewd conversation, you know, conversation of covetousness, of lustfulness, of all manner of idolatry. That was the counsel that we was having, right? That was the conversation that we was having. You kind of counseling to come up here. We don't, we don't go to the club. That's wicked counsel. Yeah, let's go in on this such and such. That's folly. That's wicked. That's madness. Counseling how y'all gonna come with y'all next come up, right? That's not nothing, legal probably, right? Jake counseling, on the women, yeah, I seen such and such, At the club, woo, woo. She was bad. That's folly counsel, man. That's wicked counsel, right? But the Lord say, bless this man that's not dealing with none of that, right? That's not meditating, and thinking these thoughts and counseling these thoughts, in his mind, right? Or amongst, whomever else, right? It says, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doeth he meditate day and night, right? So in these last days, the law is something you could be meditating in, right? That's playing upon tables. You should be meditating in the Lord every single day. If you replace the time that you probably, do whatever you do that's 9 times out of 10 unprofitable and it might not even be godly, right, all the time. If you replace that time with time that you meditating in the scriptures, right, man, you'll level up so mighty in this thing, man. You'll be way more pleasing unto the Lord. Because you got to think about it. Everything you do is a sacrifice to the Lord. And you got good sacrifices, you got bad sacrifices. You got sacrifices that's pleasing to the Most High. You got sacrifices that's not pleasing to the Most High. Every action you make is a sacrifice to the Lord. Every thought, every conversation is all a sacrifice to the Lord. And you may be saying, well, why are you saying that? Because the Lord is taking into account everything you do, and everything you do matter. Especially not you in the truth. It's really a magnifying glass, like zoomed in on you now, right? The Lord is paying attention to everything that you do. That conversation you had the other day, that might have been full of gossip, full of backbiting, full of something. Hey, that was a sacrifice, and that wasn't too pleasing to the Most High. But you want to know why you spoke and uttered those words? Because that's what you're thinking about. That's what your mind meditating on. That's off, right? Or on the flip side of scales, that holy conversation that you have with a brother or with a sister, and y'all talked about the precepts for almost 2 hours. Y'all strengthened each other. Y'all exhorted each other, right? Y'all chopped it up about good, sound, mighty doctrine. How the Bible say this and how the Bible say that. What's these prophecies, what's going to happen in these last days. And that was a mighty sacrifice in the eyes of the Lord. You understand? The Lord was delighted in that. That was like a lamb being offered up without spot, without blemish. That was the peace offering, man. Right? That was a mighty sacrifice of all the sorts of sacrifices, man. Right? That's what the Lord is delighted in. Right? It says, but his delight is in the law of the Lord. And in his law do if he meditate day and night. Right? So, hey, I'm not just gonna sit here, and go the whole video and just, tell you all this and that and not give you things that you can meditate on. The Lord gave you things you can meditate on. He said you can meditate on his law, which is a beautiful thing. Right? Let me get this other piece up in Psalms real quick. It tell you in Psalms 119, roughly paraphrasing before I grab it. The servant of the Lord loved the law. Right? As a servant of the Lord, you ought to love this law. Right? This book of Psalms, chapter 119, I believe it's 142. 140, Salakia. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 119, and Salakia. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 119, and verse 140. It says, thy word is very pure. And we can pause right there real quick. The word of the Lord within itself is pure. Right? So that alone should make you hunger and thirst to want to have your mind meditating upon the word, because it's pure, it's perfect, it's undefiled, it's without spot, it's without blemish, right? It's beautiful, right? It says, I'm reading again, Psalms 119 and verse 140, thy word is very pure, therefore thy servant loveth it, right? So if you really a true servant, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, you're going to love this word. And Psalms 1 and 2, 1 and verse 2, right? It just told you that, you meditate therein day and night. And in order for you to be meditating in something day and night, I'm gonna be honest, you gotta love it. You gotta have some type of yearn for it, some thirst, some hunger for it. It gotta be something that interests you. It gotta be something that's intriguing to the mind. You gotta like it. If you doing something day and night, man, what they say in the word like clockwork, just like clockwork, constantly cycling. Next hour, next minute, next second, next day, next week, next month, next year. It's just like clockwork, right? That's what your mind got to be like clockwork, meditating upon, the scriptures. Because as a servant of the Lord, you should love it, right? It says, therefore thy servant loveth it, right? Hey, so instead of loving, the worldly music, instead of loving the dang PS4 for 8 hours of the day, right? Instead of loving, what else, Jake? Instead of loving binge watching, right? Whatever show you watch, 9 episodes in a row, and you could love this law instead. And you could be way more pleasing to the Most High. Way more. I guarantee you'll grow. You'll be on fire. You'll be inflamed with zeal. You'll be inflamed with great diligence, right? You'll be so mighty. Your memory will start kicking up instead of those rap lyrics replaying in your dang mind. You'll have the precepts running through your mind, right? You'll be so on fire because the Lord is gonna say, "Look, hey, I see what he's doing. I see." Not saying that I know the mind of the Lord. Not saying it like that because the Lord clearly said, His thoughts not our thoughts and things of that nature. But nevertheless, right, looking at it in a good aspect, in a confident way in the Most High, right? Because you ought to be doing what you should do so you can have hope and trust that the Lord is looking at you in a good way. So the Most High kind of looking down, he kind of like, dang, yeah, I see. He like to keep his mind on his word. Let me increase his memory, right? Matter of fact, let me increase his eloquence and speech. I might use him to be a teacher instead of you just keep playing the same folly music in your mind all day. Brothers kind of get to talking about the precepts, and having a holy conversation. You kind of come through saying rap lyrics. Nobody want to hear that for real. We having a holy conversation right now, King. Either you can add to this conversation or, I don't know. All right. So, what your mind is upon and what you meditate upon in these last days, it really matters. And the Lord is looking at that. He looking at it with a magnifying glass. He kind of zooming in. The Lord is paying attention to what you think, right? He paying attention to what your mind focused on. He paying attention to what you putting in your mind too. So that's why really, I really probably should have named it, watch what you feed your mind. That's really what I wanted to title it, right? Because hey, that's the whole point. That's the exhortation. Watch what you feed into your mind, right? That's why I put Psalms 1 and 2. You should be feeding your mind the law. That's what you should be meditating on. Our forefather Isaac was meditating in the field. He wasn't meditating on folly. He was okay. Well, I ain't gonna use that example because obviously they didn't have video games back then. But it was distractions around. It was folly and sinful things around that could easily, lead your mind astray. But he wasn't meditating on that straight up and down, right? And he kind of meditating on the Lord in this thing, man. Meditating on the Lord and having faith, trust, and confidence in him, man. Right? So you got to watch what you feed your mind in these last days, man. Feed it the law, right? Instead of, whatever you binge watch, right? Feed it these precepts, feed it these prophecies, right? Let's get that real quick, right? Let the scripture speak. It's the book of Sirach, right? Chapter 39. And I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, "But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High and is occupied in the meditation thereof will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient and be occupied in prophecies." Right? So this is plain. This is plain for real. The Lord said, look, hey, that brother that's down there that I'm examining, the one that's giving his mind to the law, the one that's occupied in the meditation of the law, and we went into the word meditation, you thinking deeply, you focusing on this, right? You locked in on this. It says, and it says the meditation thereof, that brother, he's gonna seek out the wisdom of all the ancient. He's gonna dive into the dark parables. He's gonna dive into the breakdowns, right? It says, and be occupied in prophecies. And when you give your mind over to the law and the meditation thereof, and the word in its whole totality, the Lord said you're gonna be locked into the prophecies, man. You're gonna have and the Lord, the fact that you choosing to meditate and feed the word into your brain instead of all these other folly desires of the lust of the flesh, of this world, the Lord say, look, you're gonna be locked in on prophecy. And you wanna know what the Lord gonna do? He gonna give you sound doctrine and understanding of prophecies. Then you can go out there and prophesy and shake the hand mightily in this thing, man. Right? And prophesy mightily, right? In the name, right, of Yahweh Shemel Shai. That's the reward that you get for being locked in and being on fire, right? You can't really say, you want to grow, you want to be mighty, I want to remember precept, I want to do it, but you're not feeding these things into your mind, right? Because that's what really matters in these last days, man. How you gonna have this built up faith and courage and confidence in Yahweh when all hell break loose and you was never feeding that into your brain? It's gonna be hard for you to think in an instant, like, okay, let me trust in the Lord, right? Let me call upon the name of the Lord. It's gonna be hard for you to think stuff like that and think of precepts, whether it's book, chapter, verse, right? Whether you're roughly paraphrasing, it's gonna be hard for you to think of those things because you wasn't consistently feeding those things into your mind to meditate on those things, to have that deep, what it says, to think deeply or to focus. Because you got to think about it. You're going to need that word when all hell break loose. You're going to need it. So you got to make sure you fill your brain. You got to fill your spirit up with as much of the word as possible, man. That's what you got to feed your mind in these last days because it's going to benefit you, in the latter end, especially when all hell break loose. Or that's all you're going to be able to depend on is the faith that you got in the Most High and all the word that you stored up in your spirit, in your mind. That's all you're going to be able to think about. If you keep feeding your mind NBA Youngboy, Lil Durkio, right, and whomever else, right, when you know what you're going to do when all hell break loose, you're going to think to go pick up a damn weapon. You're going to think to get carnal and fight and think you're gonna punch and beat people up and shoot at people doing all this, being a nigga. That's what you're gonna do, because that's all you feed into your brain. That's all you feed into your mind. So that's what you're gonna think upon, and then you're gonna act off those thoughts. And that's not gonna look too good. It's not gonna look too good. Right? So you gotta watch what you feed into your mind. You keep playing Call of Duty all day. Right? You play Call of Duty 11 hours in a row. And now when all hell breaks loose, you really think you're about to have a top-notch bug out bag. Right? You really think you're about to have 8 ballistic knives in your pocket. You think about to walk around with a big old AR and 3 pistols strapped to your body and 5 grenades. Brother, no. No. That's not how it's gonna go down. All right. You gonna think you a damn soldier. And just for that, you kept feeding that into your mind, well, just hey, the Lord send you to the draft. And then he kind of tell you this all you thought about. That's all you fed into your brain anyway. Well, why are you mad that why are you upset? Like, now I'm not saying the Lord is literally gonna do that to people, but he sure could. Just because you keep feeding that into your mind instead of listening to the spirit and feeding the righteous things into your mind that you know ought to be fed into your mind. All right, let's read on. So book of Sirach chapter 39 and verse 2. It says, he will keep the sayings of the renowned men, and where subtle parables are, he will be there also. So when you really lock in and you feed in your mind his word, the scriptures say you're gonna keep the sayings of the renowned men, and where the parables are, and you're gonna be there. Meaning what? You're gonna be diving into this word, breaking down the parables and understanding them. Or brothers doing the videos, whatever the case may be, right? It says, verse 3, he will seek out the secrets of grave sentences and be conversant in dark parables. So this is the reward that you get when you choose to feed the most high word into your mind and meditate on that instead of all the other folly that the world has to offer. You're gonna be mighty with the parables, right? You're gonna be mighty with the grave sentences and the understanding thereof. You're gonna be finding out the secrets of wisdom, right? This is what you're gonna get rewarded. It says, verse 4, he shall serve among great men and appear before princes. So you're gonna appear before the mighty men, and you're not gonna appear in a goofy fashion or a foolish fashion. You gonna, like, the men of renown, and they're gonna look at you, hey, this young brother, hey, yeah. He doing his thing, man. The most hard working when he dealing with him, man. And that's how you're gonna appear before the princes, man. Not saying you have to, do these things to seek out that glorification of man. No, of course not. But this is just simply the reward that comes with meditating and feeding your mind the things that the Most High would rather you have than what you might want or what this flesh may want. Essentially, look, you're gonna start to glow. All right, you're gonna start to mighty up. If you eat, sleep, think the word all day and night, it's gonna just it's gonna be natural. It's gonna click. It's gonna be in you, and it's gonna start to flow. It's gonna start to flow. Right? Let's read on. It says, he shall serve among great men and appear before princes. He will travel through strange countries, for he have tried the good and the evil among men. So then you're gonna earn discernment as well, man. Right? It say he didn't travel through great countries. He didn't try the evil for me and the great man. Hey man, look, you're gonna mighty up in this thing. This is all showing you how you're gonna mighty up when you meditate upon the Lord, when you feed the law into your mind, when you feed the prophecies into your mind. This is all showing you how mighty you're gonna be, how much you're gonna grow. You think the Lord gonna bring the brother that wanna listen to, I don't know, folly all day? You think he's gonna present you amongst the mighty men? You think he's gonna start to make you glow and be renowned amongst the congregation? Of course he not, because you're not purging and purifying your mind. He can't bring that type of guy up to the stage. Cause what you gonna do? You gonna start talking about the new modern warfare? You gonna start talking about GTA? All right. You gonna start talking about the new album and the most I just don't. He really just could care less. I'm be honest with you. I'm just be honest with you. The most I really could care less, right, about those things, man. because they don't mind the things of the spirit. It says, verse 5, he will give his heart to resort early to the Lord that made him. That's beautiful. It says, and will pray before the Most High, and will open his mouth in prayer and make supplication for his sins. And that's beautiful right there. That's beautiful. Straight up and down. So when you really lock in and give your mind over to the Lord and feed righteous things into your mind, this is the result, right? This is the result. This is how you're gonna be. You're gonna resort early to the Most High. You're gonna make prayer and supplication for your sins, right? You're gonna be fervent in the spirit. It's a beautiful thing when you get up early and you get straight to it and you start serving the Lord right off the bat, right? So you got some people that get up and the first thing they put in their ear is music, right? That's the first thing going into your ear. Zero through your ears, all in your brain. Is butt shaking, right? Thugging, killing, adultery. Jake can't make not one song without talking about sleeping with somebody woman, right? Money, jewelry, cars. It's the lust of the world being fed into your brain. And you can't say it's not. Don't say, brother, you lying. It don't affect me, though. No, I could listen to that. It don't do nothing to my spirit. It don't do nothing to me. I'll be cool. I'll be cool. We don't want to hear none of that, man. I've been there, done that. I had the same words flying out of my mouth when I ain't had my act together. And that's foolishness, man. It do something to you. It do affect you. You putting that in your brain. And it's not pure. It's not holy. It's defiled rather than undefiled. And it's off. It's off. It's off. Playing upon tables. It's off. We all been there before. We all listened to the worldly music before. We all played video games all dang day. We all did all extra activities instead of gave time to the Lord all day. I'm talking about brothers at the court all day, right? Jake just in the gym all day. Think you Jordan, Kobe. I'm in the gym 10 hours a day, man. Throwing up 1,000 shots. Well, brother, if that's what you keep feeding into your mind, that's what you're gonna be. And you're gonna lose the truth and go be a basketball player, right? You kind of you just boxing all day, right? You kind of start telling yourself you Canelo, right? You keep feeding that into your mind. I'm Canelo. I'm gonna be one of the greats, man. Be one of the greats in boxing, brother. No, be one of the greats of the prophets, man. All right, be one of the greats in the prophets, man. All right. So you gotta watch what you feed your mind. You feed your mind too much in any of this madness out here. It could be self-destruct, right? Now, I'm not saying that these things is necessarily wicked. Like, yeah, you may have your downtime. You play the game a little bit. I ain't saying brothers in sin and you just the worst Israelite on planet. No, I ain't saying all that. All right. But what I am saying is watch what you feed into your brain, consistently. Because you can start to become that and you can start to think upon that all the time. So what I'm saying is watch what you feed into your brain in these last days. And the chief thing that you should be feeding into your mind is the word of the Lord over everything. Over everything. Over everything. The word of the Lord should be the chief thing that you feed into your brain. The word of the Lord consists of mercy. It consists of grace. It consists of faith. It consists of being zealous. It consists of being on fire. It consists of being mighty. It consists of increasing. It consists of prophecies. It consists of rebuke. It consists of growth. It consists of everything that your spirit could possibly need to be fed, or your mind could possibly need to be fed. It consists of it in the Holy Word. So this need to be the chief thing that you feed in your mind every single day. Every single day. Because guess what? You feed this in your mind every single day, your conversation gonna get better, your thoughts gonna get better, your speech gonna get better, your sacrifices to the Lord on a spiritual level are gonna get better. Your prophesying gonna get better. Your teaching gonna get better. Your arms gonna get better. Everything is gonna get better, and you're gonna grow, and you're gonna blossom, and the Lord just gonna have that glow coming off you. And brothers gonna be able to see and tell. They're gonna be like, hey, that brother been studying. He definitely been engulfed in the word of the Lord lately, for sure. He growing. Look at this increase. Look at him growing. Right? It's just gonna show whether you may want to be that brother that want to hide and tuck away. I'm low key. I'm cool. It's gonna show. The Lord is gonna show it because the man shall be known by his works. He should be known by his fruits. It just is what it is. You understand? So we gotta watch what we feed in our mind in these last days. And the chief thing we should be feeding our mind is the word of the Lord. It's the chief thing, right? And I promise you, like it's beautiful when you humble down and submit to the Lord and just do what He wants you to do. See, Jake want to get on sisters all day. Sisters got to be submissive, which they do. But Jake's so busy telling Eve, how she got to be submissive, brother. You got to submit too to the righteousness that the Lord really wants you to do and really rather have you do, besides the fleshly things that you want to do. You got to submit too, right? I done been there before. The spirit kind of telling me, turn on the cold cut, but you cranking up the music, you know, listening to your Young Jeezy, whatever Jake listen to. You cranking up the music, but the spirit on the inside just telling you like, you probably really should listen to a code because I know you hear what they talking about. I know you hear that. And you just cranking it up, doing your thing, and you just and the spirit just hitting you like, I don't think the Lord really approve of this, man. I'm almost for certain that you might want to cut that off and probably listen to a breakdown or something. The Lord be it's like here go your mind, your spirit telling you these things, but you just jamming, hitting your dance, you doing that. The whole time on the inside, he's just telling you, it's just egging on like, nah, don't do that. Nah, you just heard him talk about sleeping with a man, like that's off. And then here you go, you in your mind, you pointing it up like, yeah, that is off. Rob him, shoot him in the face. I'm a kid. You just and you the whole time you like, whoa, like this is off his head, man. But you steadily doing it, doing your thing. Hey. And then here you come with that same excuse. It don't take me though. It don't do nothing to me. It don't do nothing to me. I'll be straight for it. All right, brother. All right. We was commanded to be holy. Brother kind of hit you with the precept. Telling you how we got to be holy, we got to be pure, abstain from all prison. Even all you hit them with, you just start doing this. Say, you want to fake me though. You want to fake me though. That's all you hit them with. Brother, the Most High not pleased with that. He not. You keep feeding that into your mind, then you start to care about that. You can't feed that into your mind all the time, man. Really at all. It's off. It's not right. All right. You play 2K all day. Sitting back. 2K. All you feeding is Curry, spin around jumpers, layup, or reverse, whatever Jake be doing. That's all you feed into your mind. He's looking at that screen all day, click, clapping under control. It's been 12 hours. Still ain't read. Still ain't doing no prayers. Ain't watching no breakdown. Brother, you putting the wrong thing and definitely too much of the wrong thing into your brain. Now you feel me? We come around, you coming around Aki and you just, yeah, I went crazy on 2K. Here we go. We diving into the prophecies, right? We going into the breakdowns. Yeah, man. I was going crazy. You doing the moves. Hey, I was crazy on today. Drop 40 on my plate. Like, come on, brother. That's the only thing, brother, is bringing out precepts, and you can hop into that thing and bring out precepts too. But all you got is 2K to talk about, or the new album, or this song and that song. All these things that the Lord really could, I'm be honest, could care less about. But you feeding it into your brain so much, you're starting to become that. Now it's just starting to automatically come up out you. When instead of all of that, it could be the prophecies coming up out you. It could be shaking the hand coming up out you. It could be sharp with the precepts coming up out you. But you don't get your mind to that enough, so that's why it's not happening. It could be the memory coming out about you, coming up about you. It could be the milk. It could be the wine. It could be the honey of the scriptures. It could be the law, right? It could be the practical knowledge precepts. It could be the gospels, right? And the Lord would be so much more pleased with that because you got holy things coming out of you. Let me get a quick precept real quick. Quick precept, right? This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, right? And matter of fact, I'm going to start at 20. I'm going to start at 20. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, and verse 20. It says, my son, attend to my words, incline thy ear unto my sayings. So we're being commanded by wisdom to attend our words to what wisdom has to say, right? That's right here. Check this out. Proverbs 7:1, quick precept. It says, my son, keep my words and lay up my commandments with thee. Keep my commandments and live, and my law as the apple of thine eye. So this what should be at the forefront of your mind. This is what you should be feeding into your mind and meditating your mind upon consistently all day, every day. to the best of your ability. For the majority, it should be the word of the Lord. Whatever aspect, it can be the gospels, you know what I'm saying? It can be the prophecies, it can be the law, it can be the practical knowledge, it can be Sirach, whatever. It can be the history, whatever. That should be the apple of your eye. That should be the main thing getting fed into your brain. Wisdom say, keep my words and lay up my commandments. Right? Let's go back to Proverbs 4 and 20. My son, attend to my words, incline thy ear unto my sayings. And it said, incline your ear to Drake, right? And it said, incline your ear to I didn't even know the girls, man. Whatever female out there, whatever. Damn, Lil Kim, I don't know. And it said, incline your ear into all of that foolishness, right? And the same thing, just because I'm saying it, don't mean it don't go for me. It go for me too. I gotta watch what I put into my ear, right? I can't get on here and just be, big hypocrite, kind of telling y'all this, but and it don't go for me. No, it go for me too. You got to practice what you preach, like they say in the world. You got to practice what you preach. You got to purge it out, right? And they say incline unto 2K 4 or whatever out now. 12 hours out. No. It ain't saying incline unto that all day, right? And this really just, it's exhortation. You got some brothers out there, you been over righteous, Ark. You been over righteous, Ark. Ecclesiastes, man. You been over righteous, Ark. No, brother. It's encouragement, brother. It's exhortation to have this word at the forefront of your mind and being fed into your ears majority of the time instead of everything goddamn else. Especially in these last days. Especially. You got brothers out there, they don't want, so you telling me I ain't gonna get the kingdom because I be playing the game. Brother, ain't nobody saying that, brother. Yeah, like I say, brother, brothers gonna have their downtime, play you a little 2K. Well, brother gonna put it anyway, the fraud not that of a good day. Brother gonna, so we ain't even gotta go there and do all of that. But the chief thing should be this word that's being fed into your mind, right? You should be given over to the word of the Lord more than anything. You and your household, things of that nature. Paul said, cover to prophesy. You should be lusting and hungering and thirsting after the word of the Lord, man. Right? Let's keep reading. It says, verse 21, it says, let them not depart from thine eyes. Keep them in the midst of thine heart. And your heart represents your mind. All right? So this word, you cannot let it depart from your eyes. You can't. Meaning what? This you should be occupied in. Your eyes is what you use to see, right? You got vision. What are you looking at? The eyes, the most wicked thing created, like it's saying in Sirach, man. Right? It's the eye. Because what is it with your eyes? Your eyes, you can use your eyes to look. It gives you the opportunity to see things. And when you see things, it gives you the opportunity to think things. Then when you get to thinking it, then you kind of get the lust in that. Or because what? Because you laid your eyes upon it, right? You kind of seen the new I keep using these video games, man. Right? You seen the new game, GTA, I think it's on the number 6 now. Right? You kind of seen you looked at it. You didn't touch it. You didn't play it. You didn't feel it. You're not in the dang game. You just looked at it and said, I looked at that. I seen that. It looks fun. I have to buy it. I'm gonna buy it. And I'm gonna play it. Because you looked at it. Right? And not only did you look at it, but you let the lust of it take hold on your mind. Now you feel like you gotta have it. Then as soon as it dropped, you the first one buying it, and you didn't play GTA dang 4 days in a row, and you barely read. You barely read. No studying. No. Because what? You're giving your mind to that. You want to feed that into your mind. All right. Now, if the Lord give you over to that, well, hey, I guess you can only imagine why, right? The new album come out from whatever artist, new album drop. You on Apple Music, and you gonna buy it. You looking at it, and you want it. You won't deny yourself and say, I don't need to be feeding that into my ear for real, man. Jake, whoever your favorite artist, Jake, he really not talking about nothing. All he's gonna talk about is sex, money, drugs, adultery, money, Cars, clothes, chains, watch. That's all you're gonna talk about. That's all you gonna talk about. That's it. He's not gonna talk about no breakdowns. He's not gonna put no precepts in the song. And if he do, he gonna say some folly about, God gave me all of this. I thank God. And when it's Satan, damn blessing him, man. When it's Satan instead. So that's folly, that's madness. Right? That's folly, that's madness, man. So you gotta watch what you feed into your mind into these last days. And the chief thing you should be feeding into your mind is the word of the Lord. As the days draw nigh, now this is the time to go harder for the Lord. Not to get more lackadaisical, more lazy, more slothful, more I don't know. This is time to wax more and more on fire. Right? This a race. When those the Olympics, when they doing, little dash, run, Usain Bolt, all those guys, so on and so forth. When they running, whether it's a quick sprint or whatever, they run harder towards the finish line. And they do that little lean through. Why they doing that, man? Because they trying to finish off strong, man. They're not getting closer and closer to the finish line. They kind of, do a little jog. You want to know why they don't slow down? Because they're not gonna get first place, second, nor third, right? And they already want number one. So and not only that, but two, they're gonna get passed up. Three, they're gonna lose. So when you run in a race, especially in this truth, it's all gas. Especially towards the end. We in the last days. What more signs do you need? Right? We're in the last days. They drawing nigh and nigh. Can't you tell the time is being sped up for the elect? I kid you not, a day go by in a couple of hours. Time is going by so fast. All right? It's going by extremely fast. So that means what? The end is drawing nigh and nigh every second, every minute. All right? Let's keep reading. It says, I'm going to read that again, verse 21. Let them not depart from thy eyes, keep them in the midst of thine heart. So you need to keep this word in the midst of your mind more than anything else. And I mean anything. All right? You keep Yahweh, while Yahweh Shai, and his word in your mind. In the midst of it at that. All right? It says, verse 22, for they are life unto those that find them, and health to all their flesh. That's plain. Right? We just read that in Proverbs 7:1-2. Keep the commandments, you'll live. This word is life to you, man. All that other folly stuff that you could give your mind to, that's not life. All right? That's not life to you for real. Right? It says it's not health to you either. It says, verse 23, keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Check that out. Right? Check that out. The scriptures tell you keep your heart with all diligence. You got to keep your mind with all diligence. And diligence to what? To the word of the Lord. Not all the other folly and madness that the world throw at your brain for you to meditate on. Right? For you to think upon. No, the heck with all of that. Right? Hey, one more time. Keep thy heart with all diligence. You got to keep your mind with all diligence locked on the Lord. Right? Locked on Yahweh while Yahweh Shai. It says, for out of it are the issues of life. Right? Out of your mind is the issues of life. Right? It's going to show what manner of man you are. You understand? It's going to show. Out of the heart proceedeth evil things, man. Right? And it ain't really your literal heart, it's really your mind. That's where the evilness come from. Because that evilness sitting there in your brain. And you gotta cast it out. You gotta get rid of it, man. Right? Let's that start to pour out, man. Let's that start to pour out, right? And that's what you show yourself to be. A video game. A song. All right, maybe a sport. All right. Whatever else, Jake mind get caught up in. All right. Let's move on. Right. And I want to go back to Sirach 39. I wasn't done with that. So book of Sirach chapter 39. I'm gonna read verse 5 again. It says, he will give his heart to resort early to the Lord that made him, and will pray before the Most High, and will open his mouth in prayer, and make supplication for his sins. Verse 6. When the great Lord will, he shall be filled with the spirit of understanding. He shall pour out wise sentences and give thanks unto the Lord in his prayer. So you see how much you're gonna grow when you meditate on the word of the Lord and you feed that into your brain, the Lord say, look, man, look, you're going to be filled with the spirit of understanding. All right. You're going to get the understanding of these prophecies and these breakdowns and the law. Right. You're going to get the understanding of the milk. You're going to get the understanding of these things, man. Why? Because you're giving time to the Lord to meditate and feed your mind with the righteous things that he would love for you to meditate upon, man. With the righteous things that he has put in his word instead of filling it up with mumbo jumbo. All right. It says he shall pour out wise sentences. So now the Lord gonna have you speaking wise sentences, man. Right? Instead of repeating music all day. Or talk about I don't know, next celebrity all day. Whatever, man. There's so much folly out here. It says, and give thanks unto the Lord in his prayer. It says, verse 7, he shall direct his counsel and knowledge, and in his secrets shall he meditate. Dang, that's fire, man. So you can be meditating in the secrets of the Lord, and the secrets of the parables, and the grave sentences, and the dark speeches. You're going to be meditating in that. When the Lord see that you want to give your mind over to him and feed his word into it, all right? You're going to be given over unto righteousness and mightiness and growth and increase. This is what you're going to be given over to, right? And the Lord said he's going to direct your counsel and your knowledge. See, Satan out here directing a lot of people counsel and knowledge because they don't want to meditate on the Lord. They don't want to feed this word into their brain. They want to feed the world into it. They want to feed going to the club into it, right? What else? Going to the club, Instagram. They want to feed Instagram into it all day. Facebook, Twitter, right? That's what they want to feed into their mind all day. They don't want to feed this holy law into it. They don't want to feed the prophecies into it. They don't want to feed the practical knowledge. They don't want to do that, right? They want to feed. They want to feed twerking and lurking, right? And gluttony, all right, and shrimp, crab, lobster, damn seafood boils, damn pork. They wouldn't want to feed into their mind. All right. It's off. Let's keep reading. It says, verse 8, he shall shew forth that which he have learned, and shall glory in the law of the covenant of the Lord. That is fire. That is fire right there, man. The Lord say, when you meditating and you on fire, feeding your mind this law and being occupied in the prophecies, you're gonna shoot forth what you learn. All right? You're gonna shoot forth what you learn, man. Straight up and down. Why? Because you filling up your mind with the word of the Lord, and ye shall grow thereby. Right? And ye shall grow thereby. Right? Brother ain't got nothing to shoot for. Brother ain't got nothing to shoot for because he ain't learned nothing. Because he too busy occupied with everything else. He feeding his mind everything else. Right? And you gotta have something to shoot for that you learn. And the only way you're gonna have learned something is if you reading, if you studying, if you praying, if you fasting, and you locking your mind in and feeding your mind this word. That's the only way you're gonna have a way to shoot for something you to learn. Straight up and down. That's how you gonna grow. You stagnant because you ain't feeding more into your mind. You ain't meditating hard enough. That way you ain't growing and getting nowhere. You stagnant. You showing forth the same precepts since day one. You showing forth the same precepts since day one. Brother, how so? It's been 3 years, right? That's because you fed other stuff into your mind. That's why. That's why. And the other things you feed into your mind, that's not a good sacrifice to the Lord, man. That's not what he's looking for. It's not what he's looking for. See, when you humble down and you submit to the word of the Lord and you feed your mind with Yahweh Bashim Shai, want you to feed it, you're gonna be able to shoot for what you learn. And you're gonna learn a lot. Because the Lord gonna increase you because he see that you locked in on his word. And that's what you hungering and what you thirsting for. So you're gonna grow, you're gonna blossom. It's gonna be beautiful, man. Check that out. That's beautiful right there, man. I'm gonna read that again. Verse 8. He shall show forth that which he have learned, and shall glory in the law of the covenant of the Lord. That's fire, man. You're gonna glory in this law, man. You're gonna glory in it. We just read Psalms 19 and 140, and our servant love it. He loved the word, man. It says, verse 9, many shall commend his understanding. And so long as the world endureth, it shall not be blotted out. So you're not gonna lose your understanding as long as you keep your mind meditated and you keep feeding your mind the word of the Lord. All right. And your understanding gonna be commended because you're gonna have sound doctrine, right? You're gonna have to understand, you're gonna have to break down, right? And they said, and so long as the world endureth, it shall not be blotted out. So you'll never lose your understanding. That's why some brothers lose their understanding because you're giving your mind over to other things. You feeding other things into your mind that the Lord really could care less about. And the thing about it is, you feeding that into your mind way more than the precepts, way more than the word. It says, his memorial shall not depart away, and his name shall live from generation to generation. Why you think we got our forefathers in the Bible for examples? Why you think they name written in the scriptures from generation to generation? You think it's because they gave their mind to follow you all day and stuff the Lord really could care less about? No. That's why they name not from generation to generation. They name from generation to generation because they followed the Lord all their life and they kept faith and they kept his law. And they kept their mind locked in on Yahweh Shem Shai. That is why they had his memorial. Right? That's why they had a name from generation to generation. They stayed locked in on the Lord. So what you feed your mind in these last days is extremely important. It can make or break you. We just read that it can make or break you. It can either make you and you grow in prophecies and the law, you grow in understanding, right? Or it could break you and you lose your understanding. And that's plain, right? That's plain. Let me just quick precept. Get Ecclesiastes 8 and 1 real quick. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 8 and verse 1. It says, who is as the wise man? And who knoweth the interpretation of a thing? A man's wisdom maketh his face to shine, and the boldness of his face shall be changed, man. And that's fire. It say your wisdom is what make your face start shining. All right. It say the boldness of your face is gonna be changed, man. You're gonna be a mighty brother, shining forth, glorifying in the Lord, magnifying the name of the Lord. You're gonna be shining. Brother's just gonna see that spiritual glow on you, right? Because you've been locked in. You've been eating up on that wisdom and your understanding with your mind meditated on the word more than anything, man. With your mind meditated on Yahweh Yahushai more than anything, that is gonna start making a spiritual glow come around you. Brothers just gonna see that glow. I just can't really explain it. It's just something you just see, man. Brothers just kind of see that glow on you, man. That boldness in your face change. How you walking with a little more courage, right? Your face got that sure look of confidence on it. Brothers see that glow around you, right? Sisters too. You can tell when somebody growing and increasing. You just see that glow around them, and it's just like that brother just waxing mighty. That sister just growing, man. Like you could just see it, and it's a beautiful thing. Let me go quick precept real quick. Right, it's the book of Exodus, right? Chapter 34. Get this real quick for the spirit. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 34, verse 28. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start at 28. It's the book of Exodus, chapter 34, and verse 28. It says, and he was there with the Lord 40 days and 40 nights. He did neither eat bread nor drink water. And he wrote upon the tables the words of the covenant, the 10 commandments. And it came to pass when Moses came down from Mount Sinai with the two tables of testimony in Moses' hand, when he came down from the mount, that Moses wist not that the skin of his face shone while he talked with them. And when Aaron and all the children of Israel saw Moses, behold, the skin of his face shone, and they were afraid to come nigh him. So after Moses got filled up with all this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding from the Lord, man, right? And you can read about that in 2nd Ezra, the 14th chapter, right? He was glowing. His face shone. What makes a man's face to shine? When they was ready to cook anyone? And that wisdom. That wisdom. Brother got filled up with so much wisdom from the Lord, man. Brothers kind of started glowing. All right. Brothers just had that spiritual glow amongst them, man. All that understanding. And not only that, he was obedient too, right? Keeping the law on fire. Mind locked in, feet getting fed the word of the Lord, man. Brothers start glowing, man. That is beautiful. That's mighty. And that's how we gotta be. That's why Moses' name is from generation to generation. That's why Moses got this memorial. Mighty man of the Lord, mind locked in on Yahweh Yahushai, right? And he filling it up with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Lord, man. All right? That's how you get down in this thing, man. That's how you do it. All right? Get another precept, right? Let's get the book of Galatians. All right. Right, chapter 5. On Galatians chapter 5. Right? This book of Galatians chapter 5. I'm gonna start at verse 16. This book of Galatians chapter 5 and verse 16. It says, "This I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh." Right? So we ought to be walking in the spirit, so we don't fulfill the lust of the flesh. Right? And the reason why I brought this out is because walking in the spirit is when your mind look, first of all, let me slow down, right? So what you do is you feed your mind the word of the Lord. Right? Now that you fed your mind the word of the Lord, and this is at the forefront of your mind, you're gonna walk in the spirit more. You're gonna walk more righteous. You're gonna walk more pleasing to the Most High. By you doing that, that's going to prevent you majority of the time, because we in this flesh, we all go off, we all make mistakes. Brothers, we make that all the time, right? We still men in the flesh, we mess up here, there, whatever, whether it's big, small, don't matter, right? But nevertheless, for the majority of the time, you're gonna be blocked away. The Lord is going to keep you from committing the lust of the flesh. Why? Because you walking in the spirit, right? The law is spiritual, like I talk about in Romans 7 chapter. The word of the Lord is spiritual, right? When you get filled with the spirit, like I talk about in John 14 and 26, the Lord is going to bring to remembrance all things, right? You're going to be locked in and engulfed in this word. And this is what you're going to remember, right? And you're not going to fulfill the lust of the flesh. Why? Because your mind has been filled up with the word of the Lord that you fed into it. With you doing that, you are less likely to walk in the flesh. When you fill your mind up with all manner of carnality, all manner of worldliness, the pride of life, the lust of the flesh, right? That is how you're going to begin to walk. And you're gonna mind the things of the flesh. But if you meditate and fill your mind up with the word of the Lord, you're gonna walk after the spirit. You're gonna walk more holy. You're gonna walk more undefiled. Straight up and down. That's just how this thing go. Right? You can't mind the things of the flesh. Right? You can't mind the things of the world. Because they're not of God. They're not of Yahweh by Shemal Shai. Right? Reading on verse 17. It says, "For the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would." And that's plain. That's plain. They lust the flesh. It lust against the spirit. Here you go. Here you go. You driving the car. Or you in the car doing your thing, right? You driving. Here go the spirit telling you turn on a cold cut. Don't get that word in. Brothers brothers live right now. You know what I'm saying? Hey, just uploaded the camp video, shaking the hand mightily, edifying the sincere sheep. They turn that on. Feed that into your spirit. That kind of what the spirit gonna tell you. But here go the flesh telling you to play that song, right? By one of these, worldly artists, right? It got that beat in it. You start driving a little fast. That's how you know music put a spirit on you, right? You kind of get to driving faster. And you in and out of traffic, you swerve. You got the Durkio beating in the speakers. You got the young boy beating in the speakers. You got your hood artists, beating in the speakers. Right? Boom, boom. Put that spirit. Hey, that's what the flesh trying to tell you to do. And like I said, talk about all manner of folly. Freaking off. No. Right, what else? Freaking off. Weed, liquor, right? Clubbing, right? That's all that's been fed into your mind. You know what I'm saying? Is it getting fed into your mind? All right, or you want to watch one of these worldly podcasts. You got the worldly podcast. The worldly podcast, all you want to do is just talk about worldly stuff all day. That's it. They don't want to bring out no precepts. They don't want to talk about the word of the Lord. They don't want to talk about no breakdowns. They don't want to do nothing. All right? That's the flesh for real. I'm gonna just be honest with you. Whether brothers and sisters like it or not, that's the flesh. All right. Whether you try to pull out, don't be overrighteous. It don't matter what you do, man. That's the flesh. All right. You're not about to sit here and tell me the spirit is telling you to play that nigga music, man. And you try to tell me don't be overrighteous. It's just a song. I don't want to hear that, man. I don't want to hear that. You're not about to sit here and convince me that the Holy Spirit, the Rakakwadash, told you to play on bounce that butt, throw it back. No, if the spirit told you to turn that on, brother, that might not be the spirit. I'm just be honest. That might not be the spirit. If the spirit told you to tote this pistol, I'm a I'm gonna catch him when I see him. I'm gonna shoot his house up. Right. I'm gonna lay down with his woman. Right. If the spirit told you to put that on, I don't know what spirit you speak of. I don't know what spirit you speak of. I can't listen to you on that one. You feel me? I just can't. I just can't. Can't do it. If you mean to tell me the spirit told you to play that goofy podcast that's 3 hours long, right? Talking about damn who supposed to wear the pants relationship. I don't know what you talk about. I don't know what you talk about. Because these worldly podcasts, they got all type of topics. Women this and man this and They just talk about all that all day, man. That's what you want to hear all day. That's what you want to feed into your brain all day. No, it's off. All right, be more pure, be more holy, be more acceptable in the sight of the Lord, man. Everything you do is a sacrifice. Everything. Right. And once you realize that, you're gonna be careful everything you do. Because I've been there before. All right. I don't have to sit here and be fake with brothers and sisters, man. I done been there before. All right. I done did these things before. And I done learned from it. I done grew for it. Grew from it. Right. And I don't never want to go back. Right. One day you're gonna have to put it in your mind to start striving to be more holy and be more pure. It's gonna have to happen one day. You better hope it happens before the Lord return. All right. The Lord is sacrificed with right. I mean, not sacrifice. The Lord is pleased with righteous sacrifices, man. Salakia. The Lord is pleased with righteous sacrifices, man. All right. Let's drop down. I want to get verse 24. This is book Galatians chapter 5, verse 24. It says, and they that are Christ have crucified the flesh with the affections and lust. I gotta read that one more time. I'm gonna read that again. It's the book of Galatians, chapter 5 and verse 24. And they that are Christ have crucified the flesh with the affections and lust. I don't need no in-depth breakdown. I don't have to expound on that for 5 minutes. I just don't have to. The Lord made that plain. Right? If you really Yahweh Shai's, if you really belong to Yahweh Shai, hey, right here in the scriptures, man, and they say you crucified that flesh and the affections and lust. So what that mean? If you really in this thing, if you really belong to the Lord, you're gonna get rid of that lust and the affections thereof. I mean, you're gonna get rid of the fleshly, carnal ways with the affections and the lust of this flesh. You're gonna get rid of it. That's what you call sacrifice. Is you gonna deny yourself? Is you gonna do that? All right? Is you gonna crucify this flesh for real? Every day? Die daily for the Lord? Is you gonna choose this word, right? These precepts, these breakdowns, these prophecies, is you gonna choose that over the video game? Is you gonna choose that over the music? Is you gonna choose that over football, basketball, baseball, hockey, whatever? All these things that's really not gonna get you the kingdom. That's really not profitable unto you, right? Is you gonna sacrifice those things and say, you know what, look, man, I'm not about to keep playing the game 10 hours, man. We can cut it down to an hour. I know the Lord would be way more happy if I only play that foolish game for an hour while, I put all my other time into, reading, praying, fasting, studying, going to work, providing for my house, so on and so forth. That's how you gotta think about it. Because everything you do is a sacrifice. Or I'd rather have holy conversation, and talk about holy conversation, what I'm saying, with brothers and sisters, then gossiping all day, then backbiting, then talk about, all what's going on in the world. Okay, I know the Lord would really be way more happy with me if I speak like this than that. That's how you gotta think. That's how you gotta have it in your mind. That's what you gotta do. That's just what you gotta do. All right. Okay, instead of binge watching 9, 12, 13, maybe 15 episodes in a row, let me watch like 4 breakdowns. instead. All right. And watch how more pleased the Lord be with you. Watch how more you grow. Watch how more happy the Most High be with you. Because the Most High gonna say, okay, he's denying himself. He's telling himself, nah, I'd rather do what I know the Lord will want me to do. I really rather. You gotta think about it. We a wife unto the Lord, bruh. We are a wife unto the Lord. How would you want your rib to be? Put it like that for Jake. Or vice versa. You know, sister, how would you want your husband to be? All right. Do you want to be ignored all day? Do that feel good to you? You get no love, no attention, but everything else can get some love and attention. Ask yourself, how does that feel? Well, it's the same thing with the Lord, man. Hey, the Lord wants your time, right? He wants your attention. He wants your love. But instead, you keep giving it to this, and that, right? The Lord wants you thinking about Him, but you want to keep thinking about all the other stuff that don't matter. It's just like being in a marriage, man. All right, right. Here you go. You're around your rib, right? You don't never talk about her. You don't never say how you delight in her, right? You don't never say, baby, I'm thankful for what you do. And I'm saying, look, that meal was good, baby, bitch. The friends that you talking to. You don't say none of that, but you can talk about the ball game all goddamn day, right? You can talk about, I don't know, yeah, the ball game. Jake being in the sports, and whatever else. You can talk about that all day, but you don't speak nothing on your wife, right? How you think she gonna feel? That's like you talking bullcrap, folly, unholy conversation all day, but you ain't speak on the Lord and His mighty works, right? You ain't thank Him for waking you up. You ain't have holy conversation talking about the precepts, talk about the breakdown, talk about the prophecies, talk about the kingdom, right? It's the same way. And, same way with a sister. Your husband come home, right? You don't thank him for going out, being a hardworking man, providing for the house, right? You don't thank him for, sharing his time with you, right? And going over, whatever you need help with. You don't thank him for none of that. He already got, you got to take her to camp. You got to feed the sheep. He got to do all these other things. So when he give you time, you don't thank him for that. You don't thank him for none of the sacrifices he made. You don't thank him for none of that. But you can gossip all day on the phone with the other sister, right? Talk about folly and madness, right? Or you could talk with the girls all day, talk about hairdos and nails, and you can talk about that all day, but you don't commend this man for a goddamn thing, right? How you think you're gonna feel about that? It's the same thing with the Lord, man. Everything you do is a sacrifice to the Lord. Everything, everything matters, all right? We talked about baseball all Shabbat. And here it is, it's the Shabbat. You just want to talk about baseball all day, football all day, basketball all day. How you think the Lord gonna feel? He's gonna feel neglected and forgotten about. And we know how the Lord deal. You neglect and forget about Him, you know what He's gonna do to you. I don't even have to say it. You know what's coming. Unless you get it together and do what? Feed your mind what the Lord wants you to feed it, right? And have better actions, because everything you do, it matters to the Lord, right? Everything, right? Let's get another precept, right? Let's get the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7 and verse 28. Right, this is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, right? Chapter 7. I'm gonna start at verse 28. It says, for Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom. And that's plain. The Lord said, look, man, one thing I love the most, man, is somebody that's dwelling with wisdom, man. That's what the Lord say, man. He say he loveth nothing. He loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom. So the Lord love when you dwelling, right, in these precepts, man. The whole road, right? The Lord love that, man. Don't you want to do what the Lord love? Do you think the Lord love when you dwelling with 2K all day? No. Do you think the Lord love when you talking about I don't know Michael Jordan versus Kobe all day, 8 hour long conversation? You think the Lord really love that? He really could care less. I'm gonna be honest with you. He really could. And that may hurt your feelings. Why did you say that? I mean, he don't care. All right. He don't care. Okay. The Lord loved Israel being glued to him. Straight up and down. And he loved brothers and sisters and children that's dwelling with wisdom, man. Because when you dwelling with wisdom, you dwelling with the Most High. You dwelling with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. That's what the Lord likes. That's what he loves, man. All right? Instead of you dwelling with God knows what all day, man. All right? So it's time to do better in these last days. And watch what we feed in our mind. And feed more righteous and more pleasing things that the Most High would love. It's time for us to feed more of that into our mind instead of the things that this flesh want to be fed into our mind. Straight up and down. All right, let's get the book of First John, right, chapter 3 and verse 3. This book of First John, right, chapter 3 and verse 3. It says, let me see where I want to start at. I'm going to start at verse 1. This is the book of First John, chapter 3 and verse 1. It says, behold, what manner of love the Father hath bestowed upon us, that we should be called the sons of God. Therefore the world knoweth us not, because it knew not him. Right? Hey, so the world don't really know the Lord for real, man. Because they not following after the Lord and doing the things that will prove that they know the Lord. They not following after righteousness. And man, we supposed to be the sons of God, man. Israel, right? So we supposed to be the sons of God, which we are, right? And the daughters of the Most High, right? And the children of the Most High. We all that. We got to put on a heavenly display, man. We got to put on a righteous display of the Lord, all right? The Lord said in Deuteronomy 4, right, in verse 6, that the keeping of the commandments, 5 through 6, the keeping of the commandments is our wisdom in the sight of the nations. And they're going to say, dang, what God is about. Let me get it real quick. I ain't about to hear him play around butcher it, man. All right. All right, let's get that real quick. This book of Deuteronomy, right, chapter 4, right, right. This book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4 and verse 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. For what nation is there so great who have God so nigh unto them, as the Lord our God is in all things that we call upon him for? And what nation is there so great that have statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law, which I set before you this day? Right? So us keeping the Lord says the commandments and putting them on display, right? Talking about them, right? Acting upon them, right? Meditating on them, right? This is gonna get our God magnified. This is gonna get Yahweh Bashem Al Shai magnified in the earth. I'm saying, damn, it's a wise people, man. Like, hold on, where's they God at? Like, hold on, these people of the Lord, ain't gonna lie, they kind of like that for real. Yeah, yeah, they really like that. And they're gonna say we have to see about their God. Their God must be impeccable, immaculate. Why? Because we doing what we got to do with displaying the righteousness of the Most High as the sons of God, right? Let's keep reading. Back in First John 3, and we're going to verse 2 now. It says, beloved, now are we the sons of God, and it doeth not yet appear what we shall be, but we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. Right? We're going to have glorified bodies and like bodies like Yahweh Shah, man. Let's talk about that. And I believe that's Philippians, let me see real quick. I believe that's 3 and 21, if I'm not mistaken. All right. Get that real quick. Like you bear with me. Philippians kind of, little book in the cut. You don't get there though. This is the book of Philippians, chapter 3 and verse 21. It says, I started verse 20. It says, for our conversation is in heaven, from whence also we look for the Savior, the Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach, who shall change our vile body, that it may be fashioned like unto his glorious body, according to the working whereby he is able even to subdue all things unto himself. Right? So of course, the elect, what I'm saying? We don't know exactly. I can't point out a brother and say, brother in the camera, can't say that. But the elect, and we don't have that mighty glorified body like Yahweh Shah, man. Right? It says verse 3 now, back in First John 3 and 3 now. It says, and every man that have this hope. So if you got this hope, then when Yahweh Shah return, and we're gonna see Yahweh Shah as he is, right? And we gonna have glorified bodies like we endure, whether you die righteously for the Lord, right? Or maybe some brothers pass away, before all hell break loose, but they still, the elect, and maybe they died of natural causes or whatever. Or you get beamed up, you endure through the second word, whatever the case may be. If you got this hope and you believe that your body gonna be fashioned like Yahweh Shah body, and we're gonna be changed, and we're gonna have that covenant within us, man. Right? That new covenant bestowed upon us. We're gonna have the law in our inward parts, a new flesh, new. You believe all of that? It says, verse 3, and every man that have this hope in him purifieth himself, even as he is pure. So if you got that hope, right, in the Most High, in Yahushua, hey, the Lord said, you purify yourself, even as he is pure. So what does that mean? You got to be pure and holy and undefiled to the best of your ability, of course. So what does that mean? What you put into your mind matters, right? What you feed into your mind matters. You have to be feeding pure things into your mind. This word is it's pure. This world not pure, right? The world, the worldliness and the things where it's not pure, but this word is pure. So you got to purify yourself, even as Yahweh is pure. Do you think like let's be real, man? Let's be real. Ask yourself: do you think Yahweh would play the game for 12 hours? No, it's folly. Do you think Yahweh would turn on Drake? No, right? Yahweh's not gonna do those things, man. Think Yahweh gonna talk about boxing all day on the Shabbat, right? Any day, really. Basketball all day. Who the best? You think Yahweh gonna do this all day, man? All right? You think Yahweh gonna indulge in folly, just joking all day? All right? You think he's gonna keep feeding, funnier jokes into his mind? You think he's gonna keep feeding Kobe Bryant into his mind? No, no, he's not gonna do that. So we gotta purify ourselves even as he is pure, man. Meaning what? Bro, we gotta strive to the best of our ability to be as holy and pure as possible. We gotta try to be perfect. We know we in this flesh, right? We know we mess up from time to time. Man go off. Same man drink water like iniquity. We already know that. Brother ain't gotta keep saying that a trillion times. And that's not about to be no excuse to keep messing up either. Right? Jake kind of get comfortable saying that. We in the flesh. We in the flesh. So what that mean? Don't try. That mean don't go hard and give it all you got to be as blameless as you can be, because you're in this flesh, that's gonna be your excuse. No, man, that's sorry. No, no. Go hard, man. Strive for perfection for the Lord, man. Strive to be pure and holy and undefiled, man. That's what you do. You owe that to the Lord, man. He brought you out of the undefiled place, the world. He brought you out of that chief flesh darkness. The word, he already brought you out of all of that. Now it's on you to try to be as mighty as you can be, man. Straight up and down. One more precept, right? Let's get 1 John 2 and 15, right? Scripture says, 1 John chapter 2, verse 15, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him, right? So you can't love this world. You can't keep feeding this world into your mind or the things of the world, man. You just can't do that, right? So in these last days, we're going to try our best. Myself, Lord willing, brothers and sisters on this thing, brothers and sisters, scattered abroad. We're going to try our best to be pure and holy and pure as possible, man. And we're going to try our best to feed more righteous things into our mind and purge out unrighteous things from our mind and defile things from our mind. We're going to try our best. You got to at least try your best. So we already know we in the flesh. We don't have to go on a I'm in the flesh rant. We don't have to do that. Brother, we know. Sister, we know. All right. We know. But what you can do is strive your hardest, man. Right? To purge this world out of your mind. To purge defiled things out of your mind. And to feed your mind with the word of the Lord more, with the meditation of the Most High more, and Yahushua and these prophecies and these scriptures. Feed that into your mind more, man. All right? The scripture I'm reading one more time. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. So you got to get that word out of your mind. And you can't love it. All right? It says, if any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. So if you in love with this world, then the love of Yahushua really not in you for real. Right? And guess what? The Lord gave the opportunity to do something about that. Right? Purge it out so you can get the love of the Father, right, in Yahushua, in your spirit and in your mind 10 times more. Right? Verse 16, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh. Just read about that in Galatians, man. It's contrary to the spirit. It's contrary to righteousness, man. It says, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. That's plain. The pride of life, having all the cars, all the clothes, gold, jewelry, watches, women, all right, popularity, fame. Man, look, no, the Lord could care less. All right. If that's where your mind at and that's what you want to keep feeding into your mind, well, look, that's of the world, and the Lord not dealing with that. So, what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to purge that out and you're gonna have to care less about that. All right. You're gonna have to care less about that and feed, this word into your mind more. The carry the precepts, right? The carry the prophecies, the carry the practical knowledge, the carry the law, the carry the history. That's what you're gonna have to fill your mind up with. It says, verse 17, the world passeth away and the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will of Yahweh by Shemal Shai abideth forever. You see that? So if you feed in your mind the lust, right, of the world, and you're gonna pass away with the lust of the world. You're gonna pass away with it if you want to keep feeding that into your mind. Because if you keep feeding that into your mind, you're gonna become that. That's what you're gonna be about. All right? Straight up and down. It says, but he that doeth the will of Yahweh abideth forever. Right? So if you do the will of the Lord, you're gonna abide forever. So you got to feed that into your mind. That's where your focus got to be, getting this kingdom. Pleasing the Most High, pleasing Yahweh Shai. That's where your mind got to be at. So we got to watch where our mind be at in these last days, man. Right? I'm going on preset real quick. Where was that in Proverbs? Right? All right, this is what I want. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 16. Right? Matter of fact, all right, I'm going to get 25 first real quick. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 25, the classic. There is a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. Right? And that right that may seem way that way that may seem right unto you is following after the flesh. Like I said, you may think that these things is okay, right? But to be carnally minded is death. Romans 8 and 6, man. Right? So you can't be carnal minded and you can't be carnal following the ways of this flesh and thinking that that's okay. No, it's not. Right? And that's that way that may seem right unto a man, following, doing what you want to do, feeding all this body into your mind. That may be, like I said, you got brother, brother may say, they don't affect my spirit though, and all right, brother, all right, that's cool, that's cool. The Lord see you sacrificing these carnal, folly, worldly things, unto Him more than these beautiful, righteous, spiritual things. Well, we just see how far that gets you. All right, it's a way that seems right unto a man, but it ain't really right for real. You may think this flesh is right. You may think 2K23 for 23 hours a day is right, but no, it's not. It's gonna lead to death. You're spiritually dead, back in the goddamn world, and then you really die. All right, and look, we don't want that. Right now, let's bump up a precept, two precepts. Right, it says Proverbs 16 and 23, the heart of the wise teacheth his mouth, and addeth learning to his lips. You see that? So that's what you need to add to your mind so it can come out of your lips. Learning, right? It say the heart of the wise, the mind of the wise, you're going to teach your mouth, man. So what can come out of your mouth? Learning, right? So that just go to show you what you feed, because your heart represents your mind as well, right? So what you feed into your mind, that go to show you what you feed into your mind, that matters. You want to know why? Because it come out your mouth, man. It come out your mouth. Or what you keep putting in your mind gonna start coming out. If you binge watch TV shows all day, that's what you're gonna start talking about. Right? If you feed your mind basketball, football, baseball, hockey, damn tennis, that's what's gonna start coming out your mouth. If you feed it, I don't care if you feed your mind stocks all day, stocks and bonds. Well, that's all you're gonna talk about. If you feed your mind financial literacy all day, that's all you're gonna talk about. Or majority of the time. Whatever you feed your mind the most, that's what you're gonna speak about. You could be a damn foodie. You could be a foodie. All you feed your mind is food, 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 in the next recipe. Well, that's what you're gonna be talking about. All right. Whatever you feed into your mind the most, that's what's gonna come out your mouth. All right. So you need to feed your mind these precepts, this word. That's what you need to feed your mind in these last days. So that could come out your mouth, right? So that can come forth out of your actions too. Read that one more time. Proverbs 16:23. The heart of the wise teacheth his mouth, and addeth learning to his lips, man. Verse 24. Pleasant words are as the honeycomb, as an honeycomb, sweet to the soul, and health to the bones. And that's plain, man. Right? So, Lord willing, this video was edifying to brothers and sisters. Lord willing, this video was helpful to brothers and sisters. And Lord willing, this video encourage brothers and sisters to feed their mind the word of the Lord more and more, and meditate more and more upon the word of the Lord, and heavenly things that be above, right, than these carnal things that's down here that's going to pass away, right? I would like to give all praises, double honor, and glorification to the Most High Yahweh by Shema Mashiach, woman like Yahweh Shai, right? All praise and double honor to the Most High. And Lord willing, the Most High can establish our minds to be more meditative upon His word even more, right? And our minds can be inclined unto His word even more, and we can feed that into our mind even more, right? And with that, Kwame Shala, Shalom.